If the roar of the crowd gives you goosebumps, catching a slip makes you grin, and above all, you love making your bookie cry, then you're in the right place. The #1 spot for premier betting advice and wild opinions, shared with a fan base like no other. Welcome home. This is the Punchlist MMA podcast.
What's going on, everybody? We're back, baby. We're back. Hello, greetings, salutations, and all that good stuff in between. I hope you are well. We had another green weekend. UFC Austin was profitable, if only just barely, but green is green, if you know what I mean. And we came out on top. A little bit of luck, and we did exactly that. So finished up half a unit. I know that's not much, but green is green, baby. All in all, 5% ROI, which, I bet you there's stocks in your portfolio that aren't doing that good. So, a little bit better than nothing. Hit on the Davison Figueiredo over Rob Font. Kelvin Gastelum play. Oh boy, got that one wrong. That's a bad read. That's a real bad read there. I thought Kelvin Gastelum's wrestling, which used to be a thing. Apparently he forgot what that is, so we didn't use that. And Sean Brady really just went out there and controlled him from bell to buzzer. That was bad. That was real bad. So hats off to Sean Brady and team and the Sean Brady backers. Thought I was on it with Kelvin Gastelum there. I saw that I wasn't alone, but I really thought I had that one nailed, and I was wrong there. Wellington Turman, Jared Goodenfight doesn't go the distance. We smashed that. That was a good way to start the night. And then the Steve Garcia plays got annexed. So all in all, we hit Wellington Turman and we hit Davison Figueiredo and just went too big on Kelvin, right? Finished with a barely green night as to what should have been, with proper scaling, a much bigger margin of green. And that's where unit placement is important. And it's kind of one of those things where I don't have it figured out to an exact science, because I don't bet the same thing every time, right? I just don't bet I don't sit there and I don't go 10 units across the board, 5 units across the board for everything, no matter whether I'm really confident in it or not. I do scale into things, and sometimes I get it wrong. And I got that one wrong this week. And the week before that, I got the, what's his name? Nicholas Moda. The reads were wrong. They were all wrong there. And we got bailed out on Moda, and we ate the bar, right? Sometimes you eat the bar, sometimes the bar eats you. Shout out Big Lebowski. And the bar ate us. So I do want to tell you guys that, I don't have a lot of plays for this upcoming event, but I do have the 5 plays for UFC 297, which takes place January 20th. I have all 5 of those plays available already, and they're on betmma.tips. I've got all 5 of those plays. I want to get them early before the lines start moving. If the lines get better than what I currently have these at, then I will probably double down on some of these. But I have all 5 of them available. I want you to know that they're there. betmma.tips. If you go to the leaderboard, if you don't want to look for Punchlist MMA podcast, if you go to the leaderboard, we've actually moved up a few spots. I think at the end of the last show, we were at 67. We are currently in 61st place. So we moved up 6 spots. Again, I think this last event was a little shaky for some folks. So even with a small amount of green, we were able to move up quite a bit, which the margin for error is very small on that leaderboard if you want to make progress. So that's where we're at. Again, I don't have a ton of plays for this upcoming event. This is one of those ones, like we talk about, if you see if it's making the radar go off, right? If you're getting the buzz going, I don't know. It's just best to be smart, right? Like, I'm not reckless with my money. I'm not going to put you in a position to be reckless with your money. So what I'm going to do is, because I do want to give you content for the week, right? I don't want to get on here and be like, this was my one bet, because it's really kind of what we're looking at. I'm going to give money line leans for this whole card, right? Money line leads. So there is an actual play that I like here. And we're just going to, there's two actual money line plays that I like that I want to go over real quick. And we're just going to run through those. Okay. The very first one is Jung Young Park over Andre Muniz, the Iron Turtle, minus 160 on Bet Online for the Iron Turtle. And you guys know, we ride or die Iron Turtle because he's always in every fight, right? He brings every fight to him. Andre Muniz is a one-trick pony. He's got jiu-jitsu and that's it. If he can't backpack you, he's not winning a fight. So we're hoping that Jung Young Park gets this out of round one. Muniz will gas, and then we're looking for a round 2 or a round 3 finish out of Jung Young Park. Park wins inside the distance is at plus 110. Park wins by KO TKO plus 200, which is what I think the line most likely path to victory is. Young in round 2 is a plus 500, and in round 3 is a plus 550. I do not think this fight goes the distance. Fight ends inside the distance is a minus 200. Now, minus 160, like I said, on Jung Young Park, plus 145, 150 range is out there available for Muniz. If you just want to bet the violence, minus 200 is a great place to start. You're getting 50 cents on the buck. That's not bad. It's not bad at all. You can scale into that however you see fit, and then you get both actors, right? This is not get rich quick. This is make money long term. So ROI style, stock market style play, that's where we're trying to scale into this one. And the next one is the subsequent or the following fight on the card, Nasrat Haqparast over Jamie Malarkey. Haqparast at a minus 190 still. DraftKings, I believe, has him at a minus 180. Or no, I'm sorry, that's Bet US has him at minus 180. He's just a better overall fighter than Jamie Malarkey. What we have to worry about with a guy like Jamie Malarkey is him being around for the long haul, right? He's not easy to get out of there, and he does crack. So we need Haqparast to really just kind of stay in his lane, do what he does best, and get the victory over Jamie Malarkey. Maybe little Kelvin can redeem big Kelvin for this last weekend's shortcomings in regards to performance. Steve Garcia and Costa got moved to this weekend. I am off of this play now. I'm off this play because Garcia was the offending party in the fight getting rescheduled. I don't want any other X factors in terms of Steve Garcia. He was already a marginal money line play anyway as to whether or not I was going to be committed to it. And how heavily, and he's coming off the flu. So I'm good. I'm good on that fight. I'm just going to go ahead and let it ride. I'm not playing props on it. I'm just staying away, right? I'm just literally staying away from this entire card. 2 money line plays in Haqparast and Jung Young Park. That is where money lies. So anyway, let's run over these real quick. Let's hit them up, and I'll give money line leans with a little bit of insight for each one, and you can use that or throw it away, whatever your little heart desires, right? That's up to you. So let's get this thing kicked off, right? Let's get this kicked off. Get my event roster pulled up here. I want to give them to you in order. I feel like that's always nice as opposed to jumping around. Okay. Shout out to they tried. They really tried with this fight poster to not incorporate yellow into it, and they just couldn't. They couldn't help themselves. They had to put the names in yellow. I want you guys to start paying attention to this. The UFC graphic design team is so freaking lazy. Every single fight poster has yellow in it, or the majority. I would say 90% of fight posters are solid or yellow dominant. And they tried. They were like, "Oh, we'll do orange," but then they started, with the font and the backlay. They can't stay away from yellow. They really can't. It's really obnoxious, man. I'm over it. All right. Anyway, women kicking off the event: Rayanne Dos Santos and Talita Alencar. Promotional newcomers, if you will. Let's women's science plus 145 on Alencar. Tetsuro Taira, Carlos Hernandez. Taira's a minus 515. If you're on Taira, take him by submission, man. That's the guy's path to victory. Occasionally, you get the position dominant. You might get a position dominant TKO at some point, but Taira inside the distance is at minus 120, And that seems like the spot, right? That seems like the spot. He is a finishing machine. And you can get it at minus 120. So I really like that. Fight ends inside the distance is at minus 160, which is another consideration because maybe Carlos Hernandez does the unlikely and finishes Tatsuro Taira. Taira by submission is at plus 140. There's 3 quality plays that you can make off of that. Stephanie Egger, Luana Santos. Again, women's science. Stephanie Egger's not good, but you might as well try it. Women are so low level. Steve Garcia, Miquel Costa. I was on Garcia last week. I'm off of it entirely, leaning Costa at this point. Shannon Ross, Hyung Sung Park. Shannon Ross is awful. He's real bad. Hyung Sung Park should be on your DraftKings rosters because Shannon Young is not good. If you're playing DraftKings this weekend, you want Taira and you want Hyung Sung Park. Let me look at those salaries for you real quick. Let me get these bad daddies pulled up. MMA. Okay. Yeah, Park is at a minus, or not, sorry, not minus. He's at 9,500. Taira is at 9,400. Yeah, do what you will with that. Daniel Marcos is also your consideration, but those are the 3 highest on the 3 highest salary wise. You're not, you could go with them, but you're going to be strapped for cash for the remainder of your roster. Kanong Song and Kevin Jussit at a minus 140. I'm leaning Jussit there. We've already talked about the Iron Turtle over Andre Muniz and Hack Parast over Jamie Malarkey. Sumadarji over Alan Nascimento. Nascimento at a minus 300 over Sumadarji. I'm quite high on the Mongolians here, but I'm on Nascimento for the time being. The Mongolian murderers our dead hat brethren. They've been letting us down lately, so I'm going to back off of Sumadarji and fellow Mongolian steppe fighters for a while. I need to reassess where I think that geographic region is progressing skill-wise. Anthony Smith, Khalil Roundtree. Anthony Smith came out his last fight against Ryan Spann, much more competitive than it should have been given their first encounter. And Anthony Smith came out and fought like a very Muay Thai style fight, very much like what we saw Khalil Roundtree do when he came back and fought Eric Anders years ago. If he tries that shit with Khalil Roundtree, Roundtree's going to sleep him. Now, if you're Anthony Smith, you took this fight on short notice because you believe it's one that you can win. And I would be inclined to believe he thinks he's going to do that by getting it to the ground. I don't think that Anthony Smith knows in his heart's of heart that he wants to go out there and strike with Khalil Roundtree. So Anthony Smith, if you're on him, take him by submission, right? There's just no point in it's by submissions plus 500. If you're already going to if you're already going to try to, lean into all that plus money, just take him by submission. Just really roll the dice, try to win some beer money. But otherwise, I'm on Roundtree here. Main event, Song Yudong, Chris Gutierrez. Obviously, the biggest test of the date for Gutierrez. Does he pass? Does he not? Leg kicks are obviously the big X factor here. Is he going to be able to skirt around the outside and stay away from Yudong Song the way he does everybody else? Very low level, low output from Chris Gutierrez other than the leg kicks. Real test here to see whether or not he can adapt that game plan to a guy like Song Yudong who's going to track him relentlessly the whole time. Can he beat up that leg? Can he hurt him? I do not know. I really don't know. I like there is a prop or two out there that I like. And once they start coming out, so under 3.5 is at plus money, plus 155. Fight ends inside the distances at minus 135. I'm going to lean fight ends inside the distance here just because of a couple different things, right? We've seen a lot of main events ending by injury or by freak accident. And Gutierrez throws a lot of leg kicks, and I like to feel that Team Alpha Male is going to be prepared for that. Would not be surprised to see leg injuries either from effective leg kicks or checked leg kicks. And we also just don't know what Gutierrez looks like over 5 rounds. And Song Yudong is a machine. So I like inside the distance here, right? We're going to try that at a minus 160. I feel like that's a good, or fight ends inside is minus 135. Sorry. I feel like that's a good spot to sit for a little bit. So we'll throw that out there as well as something for your consideration. So let's talk about something you guys have brought to my attention. I was not aware of this, so I had to play catch up because, again, you miss a lot not doing the social media thing, right? You do miss it. You do miss a lot of stuff not doing the social media thing. And one of the things that I miss or continue to miss is Sean Strickland's activity. And where this comes from, or where I'm going with this, is that you guys brought it to my attention that Sean Strickland was going after Ian Garry. Now, there's a million different things going on with Ian Garry, from him being knocked out in training to being getting kicked out of gyms and all that stuff. But this particular thing that you guys brought to my attention is that Ian Garry's old lady at one point in time wrote a book on how to pick up and date and basically, for lack of a better way to put it, not exploit, but become part of the what's the term? What, WAG? WAG? What is that? Wife and girlfriend? Whatever. Or whatever it stands for. I don't know. I sound like a boomer here. But basically, how to land yourself a rich dude or an athlete, right? So people have taken some comeuppance with this, right? Sean, or not comeuppance, but people, taken some issue with this. Sean Strickland brought it up, told Ian Garry, pull the ripcord, dude. We'll get you out of that relationship. And, if you just want hot chicks, we'll get you hot chicks. No big deal. We'll get you squared away. Ian Garry responds by saying he'll sue Sean Strickland if he doesn't shut up. Now, Ian Garry fancies himself as a very charismatic guy, right? Very charismatic. When he has the time to script it out, he pushes himself as a very very fluent dude in the realm of trying to be able to formulate sentences that get the folks going, right? Really wants to be the next Connor in that regard. Feels like his mouth can win him some money, right? Or earn him some spots to get that money. And maybe so, because there's certainly a level of talent that exists there, right? We're not going to say that Ian Garry is not talented. The problem with something like that is, right, and where this comes into play is that, much like a musician, there are musicians that are very good in the studio, but they are not good live, right? There are rappers out there that when they create songs, they've got, as the kids say, bars. But if you ask them to freestyle, that is not going to happen, at least not very well. Ian Garry is very good if you give him time to sit down, think about, rework, craft, and create what it is that he wants and needs to say. The moment you put him on the spot and start sweating him, things start falling apart. I'll sue you is like a very much like a schoolyard just saying shut up, right? Or essentially the adult version of I'm going to go tell, right? I'll sue you. This is the exact opposite way to respond to somebody, especially in a situation like this, right? Just say you'll sue somebody. Even if that were the case, right? Even if that was your recourse or that was your threat. If you're Ian Garry, you consult with your legal team or a legal representative and have them issue, if need be, a cease and desist to Sean Strickland saying, shut your mouth or this. So that way, Sean Strickland, the next move he makes, even if it's to call you out on it, puts him on notice. We've already served this, right? We've already said this. Boom. Now you got him by the short hairs. You don't go on there and block him like we're in high school and then say you're going to sue him. That's not the way you played yourself by doing it like that. You played yourself. Regardless of whether or not it's true, you played yourself. That's not good, Ian. That's not a good look for you. It's not a good look. That's not the way you handle it. I'm not saying you can't sue the guy for saying libelous things about your old lady or about you or whatever. I'm not saying you can't do that. I'm not saying you shouldn't do that if it is in fact libelous. If it's not, or no, I'm sorry, slander. Slander. Libel is whenever you write it. Slander is when you speak it. I'm sorry. Slanderous. Slander, speech, libel, literature. That's how I remember it. Yeah. Anyway, so if he's saying slanderous things about you, that's when you go about it, right? That's how you do it. You don't do it the way you're doing it, right? Because you lose, not the clout's a thing, but you're losing face, right? You're swimming backwards in that regard. You're already, no matter how you want to cut it, you're already just on the margins. You're just barely on the we like you side. Like you're just barely there. So you do something like that, and it's it's really kind of catastrophic in that regard. You just come across, well, I don't want to say it, but you're thinking it, right? You're thinking it. I don't have to say it. So that's really the big one with that. And what I don't understand is why did nobody assess this with him, right? That's the thing. Why did nobody go over this with him and say, hey, not the move, not the move? Because everything about him seems very manicured, right? It's very, we're taking steps, right? Now, let's get in here, right? And this 10,000 foot view here. I'm not claiming to know all the facts, but I will say this. If it's to all be believed, so Ian Garry, when he showed up, was Ian Garry. It became Ian Machado Garry. And if I'm not mistaken, that's the last name. Like, so he's got, I want to make sure here. So there's a kid. There's two kids. Is there two kids? I think there's two kids. One kid this chick has to another dude, Machado, and he's got another kid. Shit, I should know this. Anyway, he changed his name, and the name is not his, and it's not his wife's maiden name. So there's that. All right, regardless. So yeah, and apparently this dude lives in the house with them. I'm just saying, I don't feel like it's a good idea to have the dude that taught your girl all the stuff you like living in your house. I just don't think that's a good idea. I don't think that's a good idea. Now, if you guys were like in your 50s and 60s and Father Time had sort of passed by those carnal urges, you know what I mean? Because we all come from different backgrounds. There's people, that just family or amicable, this, that, and the other, and things that happen one time don't always happen. You know what I mean? Especially like say your parents got split when you were a kid, but yet they stayed friendly with one another. You know what I mean? I imagine your parents, having been divorced for 20 years, could probably be somewhere together, for a prolonged period of time without having to worry about them hooking back up again, right? Like that can exist. But your girl takes pictures of herself in lingerie and posts it on Instagram. So she's active, bro. She's active. And I imagine, given the way that she looks and the fact that this dude put a baby in her belly before, he's probably pretty active too, right? Just saying, it's probably a thing. And so anyway, this dude lives in your house, eats your food, sleeps on your couch, right? Poops in your toilets. When you're not there, you're at training camp, my man is feet up on the coffee table. That's a real thing that's happening. There's a dude that put a baby in your girl's belly is going to your refrigerator and drinking milk. It's a bad look. That was always a bad look. That was always a bad look. Now, what adds fuel to this fire, Ian Garry, is that your old lady wrote a book on how to bag an athlete. Now, I actually have less of an issue with this. Spoiler alert, I have less of an issue with this than I have with the dude that knocked your old lady up living in the house with you. I have less of an issue with her writing this book, right? Because here's the truth of the matter, right? Here's the truth of the matter. Couple different layers to this onion. If you're a young dude, if you're a young man that was ever into athletics, you had at one point in time had dreams of going pro at whatever it was, and you wanted to go pro. Why? Right? Maybe, I want to be the best. But you know what goes with being the best? Cars, women, money, fame, all that stuff. And if you're sitting there as a dude and you're like, I thought about that stuff, but I always just wanted to be the best. I never cared about any other stuff. I'm calling you a liar. I am calling you a liar. All that stuff. You wanted the fame, you wanted the cars, you wanted the clothes, you wanted the girls, you wanted all that. Everybody wanted that. So you as a professional athlete now, Ian Garry, now you can be that guy that isn't interested in that, right? And you can be that guy that doesn't get the smoking hot chick, doesn't buy the fancy car, doesn't do the clothes. That's 100% it, right? You can absolutely do that. But the truth of the matter is, when you're looking at a potential spouse, right? You have a series of graded things that you're looking at. People are selective. People are selective. They're selective in who they spend their time with. They're selective in how they spend their time. They're selective in what turns them on, what turns them off, whether you want to admit it. You can't just pick a random thing and be like, yep, I could make that work forever. You can't just walk down the street and just see some rando dude or rando chick or rando they, them and go, I can make that work forever. I need absolutely zero context. I can make it work forever. You can't do that. You can't. You could try. You would fail. There are criteria. Now, Ian Garry and dudes for a certain point, to a certain extent, because some guys are literally like, man, if you got a heartbeat and you tell me you love me, that's all I need. But most dudes outside of those are ones that will go, I at least have to be physically attracted to you. I gotta be like just a little bit, like a little bit, a little bit. So Ian Garry, you're a young professional athlete and you have a chick that for whatever reason checks your boxes, bro. You loved her enough and liked it, and it checked enough boxes for you to throw a ring on it. Golf clap, man. That's what you needed? Cool. She checked all your boxes. Now, the flip side of that is your girl had a specific set of boxes that she was looking to check too. It doesn't just go that way for dudes. It goes that way for women, right? Now, men get a bad rap because, right, like you see the thing like girls are, oh, dude's got to be over 6 foot. Dude's got to be over 6 foot. All right, stand on the scale real quick. If I got to be over 6 foot, stand on the scale. Right? Cool. You don't want to stand on the scale, so why are you worried about how tall I am? Right? If this anatomical attribute is such a thing, step on a scale. Right? Okay. So we realize things go both ways. However, right, we are now in a society where women are empowered to be selective about who they bring or who they allow to bring their, like, you know, to who they procreate with. And it's not like there's not past precedents for this. I don't know if you know this or not, but bro, watch an animal show, any nature documentary, it's always the dudes, always the dude birds doing the dances and with the funky feathers and all that kind of junk. It's always them that are trying to get the female's attention. That's what they do, right? We've been doing that for time immemorial. And women, females, they've got a prerequisite little set of criteria that you need to hit or you don't get to hit. It's just that simple. She determined You got to be an athlete. You got to be a millionaire or billionaire if you want to get the cookies out of this jar. Now, she didn't think about that when she had that scrub dude throw a baby in her belly, but she realized, then I got a little magic dust I can sprinkle around here. I could probably pull an athlete or two, right? So let me tell you how to do it, because this is what you need to do. And she set it up, right? She set that prerequisite up, right? So her prerequisite was, I'm going to marry a dude. I'm going to have babies with a dude who needs to be an athlete or a millionaire. If you want to put a baby in me outside of the scrub dude, if you want to get with me, you need to be an athlete, right? That's no different than you as a dude going, if you want to, if you and I are going to have a relationship together, you got to have red hair. Shout out to my dudes that love gingers. You gotta have red hair. You gotta have this waist size. Your dad's got to have 50 acres of land, right? That's what you should be doing. Look, right? That's spoiler. That's what y'all should be looking for. That's what you should be looking for. I don't care what you look like. My prerequisite box is that your dad has 150 acres. That's what you do. Yeah, that's what it should be. If you guys were really on the hunt, literally and figuratively, you'd be like, I don't care what she looks like, bro. Her dad got 200 acres in West Virginia. That's what you need. That's what you need. Bro, she set the boxes out. You checked the boxes. She checked your boxes. You checked hers. Look, man, y'all deserve each other in that regard. What do you care? What do you care? Seriously. What does it matter? And this is how you beat a guy like Sean Strickland at his own game, right? Because you can fluster him. You just say to him, so what? She's hot. Offered me what I wanted. I have what she wants. We entered a relationship, which is a mutual commitment. What's it matter to you? Mind your business, bro. Mind your business. Mind your business. Well, you think Giselle got with Tom Brady because she thought Tom Brady was handsome? Is that what you thought? She saw Tom Brady run the 40 and she was like, oh, my ovaries are quivering. That's what she thought. She saw Tom Brady's draft picture with him standing there in her underwear and she was like, damn. Yes, please. No, stupid. She was like, here's a dude that's rich, famous, and has millions of dollars, and he's not so ugly that I'm not unattracted to him. That was her she set her bar that low. And that is a low bar, to just be like, you need to be financially secure, and I need to not hate you when you're on top of me. That's what she wanted. Cool. No there was no consideration of intelligence, family history, like none of that. She don't care about any of that. No. You got a couple mil in the bank. You don't make me vomit whenever you're on top of me. Cool. That's all I need. You set your box at two check marks. Why do you care? Why let somebody sweat you about that? And then your response is, I'll sue you. Ian Garry, you got to do better, bro. You got to do better than that. You got to do better. Like, look, man, I'm 20. How old is he? 26. I'm 26. Yes, my wife is 40, but I think that she's a smoke show. She does all the stuff I like. She's a good mom to my kids. I think. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe she isn't. Maybe she's a horrible mom. I don't know. Say what you need to say. Whatever. She makes good grilled cheese sandwiches. She lets me stay up and play Warzone, and she doesn't give me a hard time whenever I go to practice 3 times a day. And she lets me see her boobs. That's all I needed for me to go, yep, I want to spend the rest of my life with you. She checks those boxes, bro. Stay in your lane. Mind your fucking business. And just be done with it. Instead, you go, oh, I'm suing you. So what? And think about this. Think about this from a book perspective, right? If you're her, I'm going to tell you how to land an athlete. Lady, you landed a dude that fights for 40 and 40. 60 and 60. Now, I know that's the Brazilian equivalent of millions of dollars, but you're not exactly the expert, right? You're not exactly the expert. I mean, Truth be told, the final boss is probably Taylor Swift, if we're being honest. Because she's not a chick that anybody would look at and go, she's overwhelmingly beautiful. But that chick bags more millionaires and billionaires than anybody else on the planet combined. Right? That's who should be writing the book. Not you. I mean, what are we doing here? Right? That's like a guy with a hunting show that's only ever shot a 6-point buck. I'm going to tell you how to be an expert hunter. Really? Okay. Cool. Yeah, man. Yeah. I'm going to teach you I'm going to show you how to climb a mountain. Oh, man. Have you done the big 5? But there's a big hill in my backyard, and I climb up that thing all the time. You've got a guy that gets 60 and 60. I mean, again, you guys are happy, so it doesn't matter. Who cares? Who cares? Saying I'll sue you? Ugh. Ugh. Just let your life be what it is, man. He checked the boxes for me. I get my cake and I eat it too, right? I got this guy. He makes decent money. He lets me stay at my house. He has my ex-boyfriend. My ex-boyfriend stay here. He's gone all the time, so I get a little bit of that, Brazilian beef. And then when he gets back, I get the Irish bangers and mash. I'm just living my best life. Meanwhile, I'm building my own brand on Instagram with my lingerie pictures and doing my own thing. Like, he lets me live the lifestyle I want to live. So in return, he gets cookies from the jar, and I have I got kids with him, and I tell him I love him because I do. I love the life that he's given me. He provides for me. That's all. I wanted: safety, security, and to be loved, and he gives me that. Sean Strickland, you know what? She lets me see the boobs. She let me put a baby in her. It is what it is. What? I'll sue you. That's bitch moves, bro. You don't have to agree with the way you're living your life or even who you're married to, but to respond by just saying, I'll sue you. That's a miss. That's a big miss. Anyway, you guys live your life. Don't worry about what other people are doing. And if they do, here are your options. Legally, find a way to make them stop, or 2, just punch them in the mouth. Just punch them in the mouth. That's all you gotta do. Ian Garry and Sean Strickland work for the same company. You don't have to be loud about it. You don't have to be boisterous about it. You don't have to do anything about it. Literally, you could just Will Smith him. Just walk up. Hey, dude, how you doing? That's it. Doesn't have to be a thing. You don't have to walk up to him fast. Hey, come here, man. I didn't appreciate. You don't even have to just. I didn't appreciate. And it doesn't just that quick. Just keep my wife's name out of your mouth. There we go. Right? I'll give credit where credit's due in regards to the Jorge Masvidal Leon Edwards thing. You gonna talk? Oh, we're gonna talk. All right, cool. Let me walk over there real quick, and we can continue to talk. Oh, you're still talking? Wow. That's really it, right? Like Sean Strickland, you're talking. Cool. Live your life, bro. But I will see you someday. That's all. That's it. I'm gonna fight you in the cage. I'm gonna move up to middleweight. I'm gonna fight. But Ian Garry, if that's your goal, you're never going to win enough fights in a row to get a middleweight title shot at Sean Strickland. So that's just the end of that. So live your life, bro. Folks, live your life. Be good to each other. God bless you. See you later.